Hello everyone and welcome back to Two Bros Game Night. I am your host, Older Bro.
I'm your other host, Younger Bro.
And today we continue in dealing with children. Also known as National Park Girls. I mean, I guess technically Yosemite isn't a girl. Or isn't a child. She ain't a child! She is sort of an adult.
Look, those boobs tell me you're not a woman.
Let's please not. This is going down a dangerous slope very fast. Anyways.
You're the one that said Yosemite isn't a girl. You started this slow.
Scan the faces of about 20 or so angsty fourth graders. Or antsy fourth graders.
Angsty.
Yeah, angsty also works. I'm counting it. Parent chaperones scold the most distracted of them with stiff hand motions. Some kids look up at me expecting...
Stop holding hands!
I think it's, Some kids look up at me expecting, waiting. Others have their fingers up their nose. None of them are raising their hands. Except for Reuben.
Anyone at all.
Anyone but Reuben. Only birds respond. Ranger Adams, tell us about the old villages that were razed to the ground before this replica was built. Please, Ranger Adams. Reuben's jumping off the ground now. His shirt rolls up as he thrusts his hand into the air. His belly spills over his cargo shorts. Count to 4 like my Jesse-mandated counselor told me to, then release a deep, deep sigh.
Go ahead, Reuben.
Where's the chief? Teacher said he would show us the sweat lodge.
I am the chief.
Councilman Trampton got caught up with tribal affairs.
Are we still doing the sweat lodge?
Doesn't look like it.
Sadly, no. Tours aren't really my jurisdiction, but sometimes, when the stars decide they want to unalign and throw everything out of orbit, they get handed off to me. I like doing them more than I used to, but usually they're hikes or nature trails. When it comes to history and culture of the tribes around here, I just feel dirty, out of my depth. Like killing someone in their home, then burying it up only for to turn the place into a haunted mate. What? It's like killing someone in their home, then buying it up only to turn the place into a haunted maze. What the fuck?
What the hell?
What the fuck is this example?
What the
Game developers, what the hell?
That's dark as shit. Hey, this place is haunted.
I mean, I guess that, like, in the most general sense, that is what we did to natives, but, like, holy shit.
That's fucked up.
Usually someone from the American Indian Council of Mariposa County would be out here, but today the kids get me, with my red hair, freckles, middle-class upbringing, and being very, very white.
So you're single then?
Do Indians still live here?
Reuben speaks up again, without raising his hand. He points around at the ramshackle buildings and cabins compiled of local flora and bark. They're sturdy, but need to be rebuilt from time to time. To be honest, it's not really all that bad of a question. Just don't like the mouth hole it's coming out of.
This village is just a replica. No Miwok or Awanichi people have lived in the park since the 60s. Even then, most were forced
about
out
the
by the
Apache?
Mariposa Battalion during the gold rush.
A couple parents cough into their fists. A teacher tugs at his collar. You're in a fucking park talking about native culture! What is the answer supposed to be? And we were peaceful with them. And that's why we took their lands. Peacefully. By putting a gun in their face and peacefully asking them to leave, or else we'll peacefully shoot you.
Yeah, I don't.
What do you fucking want?
Like, they're assholes.
They're assholes. No, it's they want a clean version. It's like, the clean version is we killed them with smallpox. Not, we killed them by shooting them.
That's fucked up, man.
Ranger Adams?
Oh, thank God, somebody else is
Someone
talking.
else.
A fragile girl with pigtails steps up from behind Reuben. Her voice is quiet and meek. If her hair were a few shades lighter, she'd look like Zion.
What is it, sweetie?
What do you mean by forced out?
Oh, good!
Oh, shit!
Here we go!
And that's when the music should just cut.
Uh-oh, I said
it did.
Oh, there we go. Uh-oh. The teacher is pleading at me with his eyes. The parents are stabbing me with theirs. Now all the kids, even the ones with low attention spans, are looking at me. Their innocent states underscoring the thick silence. Oh no. I sniff back the spring allergies.
You kids know what a genocide is?
Oh no, this is not. Oh no, this is not
This is not the place or the
This
time.
is where you get those negative form responses.
Okay.
Okay, we're going anywhere else but here. The teacher panic laughs and rushes to my side. He punctuates the tour with a clap of his
How about
hands.
we all go check out the museum?
Thank you.
Not my fault.
Thank
She asked
you.
the question, like I'm answering
Don't. Some questions don't get answered to fourth graders.
You're gonna learn it anyway.
I understand, but
if they're not gonna hear from me, they're gonna hear from you in about 5 years.
People's trash.
again, the thing we do is when it comes to children, we don't give them all the information. We give them a little bit of it. And
Okay.
then later they find out that their parents and teachers lied to them.
Do you understand what death is? Well, there you go. They died, yes. Brutally.
Gripping the scruff of his neck, I drag Pup into the cabin porch, his paws scratching and sliding on the wooden planks. He's growing so fast, I don't even believe it until I try to carry him for myself. There's an old saying that if you pick a calf up every day from the time it's born till the time it's an adult, you'll be able to hoist it up when it's fully grown. Clearly, I missed a few days with Pup. He rolls his head to my arm and nips at my wrist.
Ow! Why, you little...
Sharp pain dulls as I check my wrist. No major damage, just a scrape etched down my arm. Pup gallops across the field and spins in circles, like he has a chance of finding the end of infinity.
I am not having this lack of cooperation.
He sniffs at a
Hey,
dead
you're
bird.
supposed to be cute and cuddly.
Yeah.
This is not cute and cuddly.
He sniffs at the dead bird, so decomposed that its remaining mass is flattened into the ground. Then he rolls around in it.
Why did I touch him?
You know, you could put a little bit more blue on her face to make it look a little bit more disgusting. It's not like he ever listened to me to begin with, but lately it feels like he's untamable. He won't dare nip at Zion, but me, Yosemite, even Yellowstone have gotten snapped at by him. He's a sweet boy, but it's almost becoming an issue. I'll just have to spend more time training him, I guess. It's not like he's a wild animal that literally cannot be trained, but who knows. Maybe the weekends. Since I've started going on regular hikes with Yellowstone and Zion, they've begun feeling a little more open. Can't explain it. It's like a psychological light switch. But I guess I'm not unhappy to have flipped it on.
Uh-oh.
Sudden crack of shattering glass yelps from inside the cabin.
I spoke too soon.
My furrowed brow blocks half my vision. In less than a second, I'm inside.
Somebody better have a replacement.
At least 100 shards of ceramic and glass are scattered at the base of her feet. The tray she was carrying is upside down and several feet away, water sliding behind it. We go through teapots like some families go through sourdough. Yellowstone doesn't react, not even as much of a head turn. She stares up at the corner, eyes stretched wide, mouth open. Leaning forward in her chair, Zion's jaw is slouched on the table. She's looking at me, but she's staring right through me, maybe through the wall behind me.
Can someone say something?
What the fuck happened?
A bolt of energy sizzles from the tip of my head to deep into my calves, deadbolting me to the floor. My entire body is held down by weight, not because I can't move, but because I know I shouldn't. Yosemite is sitting in lotus over on my bed. Don't know when I gave her permission to do that, but there she is. Her back is turned to me. She faces the window. On the nightstand, a lit candle sways with the breeze that spirals through the cabin. The sweet scent of burning pine is brushed over to me, and none of this explains why there was a bolt of energy that's holding me to the fucking ground.
The fuck's going
The
on?
candle flickers out.
Girls!
The tension in my body lifts, and I'm finally allowed to exhale. There's a moment of clarity, empty stillness, where all the questions I have right now feel like they have a... Oh, empty stillness, where all the questions I have feel like they have obvious answers. But as I inhale, the fog comes back in, and I'm confused as ever.
Yellowstone. I saw it too.
So what?
And the Sam Hill was that?
At least she's too young to curse.
I don't know.
Did you see the girl?
Huh?
Oh, God.
Yeah, she was kinda hot.
Okay.
Okay, I was joking about Grand Canyon National Park showing up.
Not what I meant, but I get what you mean.
Zion scrunches up her tiny face. Yellowstone looks at her and she looks at Yellowstone. They both twist their head and look at me. Had a lot of eyes on me today, but the primal part of my lizard brain is scared enough for me to take a few steps back.
Steve, did you see that vision too? Like, in your noggin?
Vision?
They sound quiet.
No, nothing like that.
No, just... I think the music's just really loud here. I can adjust it. Yeah, same thing. Voice is maxed. Background volume is even low. It's just really loud right now.
Okay.
So, I don't know.
Yes, let's quit.
Smoke from the incense is thick. Feels tangible. Like I could hop on it and ride it to the ether.
But as soon as I walked in here, I could feel something.
Feel something? Like what?
Love!
Tension, fear. I don't
I
know.
create love!
Oppressive, I guess.
Spooky.
Zion gasps and jumps out of her seat, hovering there for a moment before floating down.
Yosemite, what about you?
Yosemite doesn't speak.
She's broken.
She doesn't turn around. She doesn't do anything. She just sits there, back turned, legs crossed, unflinching, braving whatever little word she is all in herself.
No, Slow-simity. You catching some Z's over there or what? Slow-simity.
Zion's eyes widen and her mouth stretches to a giant O.
Oh, I get it. That's very clever, Yellowstone.
If you say so.
She claps her hands together to congratulate her friend, but Yellowstone is too busy chewing on her nails to bask in it. Whatever they saw must have shaken her. Hard to blame her, though. Whatever it was I felt has me shook, too. It wasn't just a passing feeling. Like, I have to turn the audio down. It is so damn loud.
So it is louder
Like-
than usual.
It shouldn't be, but I'm turning it down anyways. Whatever it was I felt has me shook, too. It wasn't just a passing feeling, like lightheadedness or vertigo. There's something real enough that it could bury itself deep in my skin.
You know, I don't think I've ever seen you shut up for this long.
Marching over to my little nook of the cabin, I step between Yosemite and the wall. I stare her down. For the first time since getting to know her, I feel like the tall one.
Eve?
Trembling, Yosemite stares up at me, spots of tears dabbing at the corner of her eyes. 6 feet of ego and superiority contorted into a vulnerable ball. Before I can even process what she's feeling, or how that makes me feel, she pounces off the bed and wraps her long tree branch arms around me.
Whoa. Okay. Forgot you were a hugger, but sure.
Sure.
Her weight almost drags us both down to the bed. My calves are strong enough to keep us anchored to the floor. If this wasn't a game that had no romance in it, I would swear that they're going into porn territory here. She tightly,
bad touch!
yeah, she tightly clings to my uniform, stretching the fabric as she does the bare minimum to keep herself held up. There's no sobbing, but the tears are there, and I can feel them bleeding through my shirt. Quiet part of me says to push her away and tell her to suck it
Turn
up.
and push.
But the louder part of me cuts through all the nastiness and tells me Yosemite's worthy of pity. My hand, awkwardly hovering over the back of her head, goes limp. I stroke her hair until I reach her back, and then I just ride out the embrace.
What's wrong with Yosemite? Does she know what that was? Because I don't know Jack Diddley. Tell me what the Jack is, Yosemite. Tell me about the Diddley.
The two of them rush over, not giving a single second of extra thought to the idea of crowding a crying girl.
Oh, no you don't.
Dragging Yosemite's mask with me, I step over to the curtain and slide it closed, cutting off Zion and Yellowstone.
Peel back this veil, Missy. I need answers. Yes. This is extremely unfair, Miss Eve.
Yellowstone,
Look how Sion's getting in on it.
Yellowstone,
Like,
unaware
shit.
that she has the power to peel back the veil, presses herself against the curtain, the outline of her body coming at us through the fabric like bad 3D effects.
Tough. The adults need to talk.
Careful to dodge Yosemite. I kick Yellowstone back using the center of my foot. She stumbles back, and although I can't see it, I hear a crash
We
landing.
are much older than you, I'll have you know.
Cool.
Whatever you say, Squirt. Come back to the office for a few inches. Please, you two.
Yosemite manages to choke back her tears long enough to plead with them between sniffles.
Just a few minutes, okay?
In heaven.
She sounds so fucking old. The other side of the curtain goes
I'm getting
quiet.
too old.
Enough time for Yosemite to take another dance with hysterics as she tries and fails to compose herself. Zion floats to the top of the curtain rail to peer down at us.
Yeah.
She blows a ripe raspberry, then drops back down with a divine humph. Those two out of the way, I tug Yosemite back towards the bed, and have to shove her onto it to get her to stop clinging to me.
Alright, let's take a few seconds to breathe.
What the fuck's wrong with you?
Yosemite nods her head, and up and down, covering her mouth with her hand, like that'll keep me from seeing her tears, or shame, whichever makes her the most embarrassed, and I'm positive that one or the other does both. I climb on into bed, and yeah, first off, that's not what you're doing in this shot, and I don't care. I climb into the bed and do crisscross applesauce. In these khakis and this uniform is no easy task. There is another word for this that doesn't sound so childish. The comforter is soft and warm, retaining Yosemite's body heat. We both sink into the bed, the frame struggling beneath our collective weight.
Tell me what happened.
She nods and takes a steadying breath.
Well, it's hard to put into words. Nearly unexplainable.
I'm
Just
de-aging.
pretend you're smart and have to dumb everything down for me. Should be easy for you.
It's only easy because you are so mediocre.
With a half smile, she thumbs away the last few tears. I take off my hat and plant it on her head, twisting it on hard and tight so it smothers her smug face.
Spill it.
It was like I experienced things.
Welcome to consciousness.
She tilts back the hat. Her eyes pop out from beneath it like a groundhog ready for spring.
I'm serious. Not just sights, but sounds and smells too. I
Are
could
you going
recount
through period?
how I was feeling when I laughed at a joke. Complicated instances where things felt bitter and sweet, but still full. Even extremely specific energy. The richness of a moment where you really pay attention to it. Imprints.
So what, like a vision? That's gotten tossed out there already.
I suppose. Although I feel like that implies more disconnect from it. They felt more like...
Chuckling, she rolls her eyes. There's a crack in her voice, and I realize she's doing it to keep herself from crying
Well,
again.
I suppose they felt more like memories, Eve.
Memories?
Thank you for always repeating everything I say. It's very reaffirming.
If my defense mechanism in the back comfort of nihilism is the black comfort of nihilism, hers is the icy delight of sarcasm, but I think I have an idea of what it's defending her from, and that knowledge makes it hard to blame her.
Are they yours? Pretty sure all three of you saw the same thing. I could feel it as soon as I walked in.
Positive. Every living thing in this park flows through me. I feel it. My perception of being is specific to me. Unique. Did you just say you felt it?
It was just a hunch or something. You were all spaced out. Frankly, I'm jealous of your ability to disassociate.
Why am I getting defensive? I felt what I felt. In a way, I experienced it as strongly as how Yosemite said she experienced her little episode. It would be so much easier to confront if I could just pass it off as a fever or food poisoning.
You must be spending too much time around us.
Reach into the choir.
We both
Raise your
snort.
hands a little higher.
Yeah, letting the silence take over as we smile at each other. Since our entire friendship is a game of chicken, we hold out to see who breaks first. It's Yosemite. Her eyes dodge mine and droop down to the bed sheets. I do the same. I like the idea. I think part of the reason why we're so set on this being a romance is we just watched Kaguya-sama not too long ago, and this is their literal relationship.
So,
We
are you
also
gonna tell me
played a
what you
lot of
saw?
DDLC, let's
True.
be honest.
No avoiding it, huh?
For most people, you absolutely can avoid things. It's easy. But for her, I don't think it is. She always goes for the most difficult option. It's just her ego and inability to admit when she's being an idiot that makes it harder than it has to be.
It wasn't just one moment that I experienced. There were multiple moments, and it felt like I was being sucked through all of them. Through time. Languages I could understand at the time, but that seemed completely dead to me now. People I knew and was happy to see, even though I can't pin down who they are.
Her forehead creases with wrinkles, and the flow of information slows to a contemplative trickle.
One of them was a girl.
I knew it! I knew we saw the same gal!
Shut up.
Yellowstone's voice booms out like a disruptive firework.
Eavesdropping is supposed to be quiet. You need to be considerate when we're being rude. Give me the willies. If I don't get them deets, I'm gonna flip.
Keep up the screeching and I will actually give you something to be afraid of.
And I won't stop her.
Ho ho ho!
There's an immediate silence. Then Zion whispers,
Don't listen to her. We can take her on if we.
instead of storming through the curtain, I roll my eyes. Your time will come, girls. Your time will come.
Continue.
It's the same as before, really. I couldn't tell you who she was, but I knew her. She was carrying this woven basket. It looked heavy, so I wanted to help.
It was me,
And
wasn't
when
it?
she
As
turned
a
around,
girl.
it was like
No.
comfort, relief, and happiness and belonging.
Probably it's a native tribesman from
Maybe.
thousands of years ago.
Sounding crazy enough for
Or
you
hundreds
yet?
of years ago.
Nothing does at this point.
If any barrier she had erected between the two of us were still standing, I'm sure it would just got knocked down now. She pulls her feet out from the pretzel therein and balls her knees close to her
The
chest.
strangest thing about it was that there was one thing that connected all the scenarios.
Besides yourself?
No, because the through line was that it all took place here in the park. I was present in more ways than one.
As much as I want to be here for Yosemite right now, this is starting to make my head hurt.
And you're sure about that?
As sure as I am about everything else so far.
Groaning, she buries her face in her knees, the rest of her head buried under my
Ugh,
head.
if only I could visit. I feel like everything would start to make sense.
Then go visit. It's not like you can't go wherever you want in this park.
It doesn't work like that, you
She nearly stumbles into a casual insult but catches herself.
precious thing.
Not even a good
I
save.
can only go to places that I know of. Obviously, that's most places here, but occasionally there are areas even I'm not familiar with.
And I'm the
I
part.
fake a gasp.
Are you saying the great and wise Yosemite doesn't know everything?
It's a fact that actively irritates me, so don't rub it in.
Already
but-
did.
Yes. I'm afraid I don't even know where to start. Which means even after seeing all this, I'm still no better off than I usually am.
The thralls of despair are as long as they are sharp, and its talons are clutched around Yosemite. It was hard to see when we first met, but it's clear to me now. There's so much she wants to know, but so much is keeping her from it. Mostly knowledge, or the lack of it. No wonder she reads so much.
There's nothing about it in any of those books of yours?
Her head slinks back and forth.
I've read everything I own multiple times. If there were anything helpful, I'd remember.
It didn't read it.
Yeah, I was waiting for it. She's kind of pathetic. Not even kind of, she is pathetic. A far cry from the fearsome spirit that challenged me when I was first stationed here, though I think that version of her never really existed to begin with. Compare her to a tree a lot, but I think it works. At first she seemed tall and mighty, her presence shading the cabin at all times. But with a few slow and powerful swings of an axe, she's been chopped down to my size. But when you're way down where I'm at, there's nothing about you that feels powerful, no matter how much wisdom or strength you claim to have. That's how things are when you're this low. And that's why I'm going to help her.
I guess I have no choice then.
I have to snatch
Ah,
my hat from
The
you.
actual Yosemite chapter. I slide off the bed and stretch.
No choice but to do what?
Take my hat back.
But to take you to the research library.
It's not a big deal to me, so I let the info slip out casually. But to her, let's just say this will be my second good deed for the year.
Research library?
I glance over my shoulder.
Who's repeating whom now?
She crawls across the bed and grabs my suit.
Are you saying such a place exists? You aren't lying just to make me cry, are you?
No, but it is
You
tempting.
have some serious trust issues, man.
Are
I'm a
you?
woman.
Her eyes start to water again, proving my precious theory about the chopped tree. Though at this point she looks more like a garden plant.
It's real and it's a perk of the job. Open to researchers and staff. Guess which one I am?
Suddenly her eyes are dry. Suddenly she's on her feet and shaking me back and
Why
forth.
didn't you tell me about this before?
I anchor myself to the ground to minimize the damage from the oncoming whiplash.
Because you keep stealing my credit card to buy used books online. Why would I reward that behavior?
If I knew this existed, I wouldn't have had to indulge in your capitalist system to begin with.
You're welcome.
Shaking stops. Her expression goes blank, hopefully from contemplating the selfishness that boils in her at all times. She course corrects and puts on a grin, then swings her arms around me and pulls me in for a hug.
Thank you.
Yep. Please let go before I kill you. I will punch you.
Please let go before
I
I
told
punch you
you.
or kiss you. Her hug squeezes the air out of me, and I'm already realizing I'm so tired.
When are we going?
Let go of me. We can leave as soon as I change out of my uniform. There's a van down by the station we can use.
Oh, I haven't tried my hand at driving before.
No.
You're not driving.
Before Yosemite can object, Yellowstone zips open the curtain because she now remembers she can do that.
Hold your horses. Girls aren't just gonna speed off and leave us in the dark, are ya?
We're just as clueless as you are. If we figure anything out, we'll be sure to let you know.
Dun, dun, dun.
But I have questions.
And we can't answer
Isn't
them.
life funny that way?
Try not to lose sleep over it.
Again, if this was a standard romance, they would be actively fighting for her, and each chapter would have been the one time that they get to be with her. But it isn't. Yosemite hums happily to herself, and I start for the bathroom. Before I close the door, I hear Zion comfort her friend.
Don't worry, Yellowstone. We can just play Uno.
Yes.
To answer your question, there's an example of
Oh.
using a trademark
So, in
that's not
1901,
infringing on the
the Sant
trademark,
and Lead
unless they
Beater
pay for it.
published Thought
Oh
Forms,
yes, that
a
question
collection
I
of their
had
compiled
before.
work that was written from a theosophical perspective discussing the visualization of the emotions and thoughts people experience every day.
What?
Did you do that in one breath?
A bug splats onto the windshield. One of many that are now caked to the car. I pull down the lever, and cleaning fluid sprays onto the window. My windshield wipers mostly just spread the mess back and forth, only serving to make things more slippery. Okay, guys. We're gonna call it here and come back next time, where we will get to see what the fuck is going on.
Yeah, this should be flipped. No, Yosemite should be driving.
Yosemite should not be driving.
At least she might keep both hands on the wheel.
But, look, both hands are not necessary on the wheel. It's just good practice.
If you say
Anyways,
so.
the future is very uncertain. What is certain is you guys are awesome, and there'll be more Two Bros Game Night tomorrow. See you then.
Goodbye.